not about the nightbirds. I crouched at where I could touch his body. I lifted bricks from against his leg. I was the one of us who was the first to climb over the wall. I was careful of his mother's flowers. He was the one of us who insisted about the lures. The bricks from the wall we had stolen from the church. We carried the lures over the wall inside our pockets. We climbed out into the trees. He did not move. He said the lures would protect us from his brother. I lifted the bricks from against his arm at where it was twisted beneath his leg. I touched his face and felt something wet. I pressed my hand there against it and wiped it out from across his skin. I spoke his name and he did not speak. His mother's flowers were crushed beneath the bricks. I felt the wetness from his face dripping off against my hand. We climbed out into the trees and hung the lures from the outermost branches. He spoke his brother's name. He looked away from me in a way where I could see the welts across his skin. "Look," he said, "this is not about the nightbirds." I lifted bricks from below his shoulder at where they covered most of his arm. Something moved against his body like something his body pushed out from inside it. He had never seen the girl. He had never spoken her name. His brother was the one who had broken a place from inside her body. It was a place I had touched where she had let me with her hand. I touched it there up inside her body with her hand behind the church. He did not speak. I lifted bricks and spoke his name and touched his face, and he did not move. I carried his body from across the clearing to where his mother was calling his name. She lifted his body from beneath my arms. She cried and spoke his name and made a sound and held his body. I heard the nightbirds. The sound of them scattered above us. My hand was still wet. The moon lifted from against the trees. The lures hanging from the branches appeared brighter than the moon. His mother spoke my name. I lifted out my hand. I could still feel the wetness, and I pressed it up against her. I held it there. I let it dry against the cloth between her body and my hand.